shit city, but it's been mitigated. Can they admit when he does CNN? Ain't. I mean, fuck.
Well, no.
Okay, so put that in.
Well, I mean, it's a vicious cycle, right? Trump bashes the media, and then they bash him back, and he likes that they're bashing him back because that gives him more ammunition, and they're both in this battle to win this narrative of who hates the other more. It's not healthy.
Okay, so what's going on here? I did the Zoom, but where's that at?
Do you need to go to your live stream and livestream.io or whatever?
I'm in live stream. Maybe I have to hit the go live.
Yeah, you'll have to hit go live and then we'll be live.
Let me see. It's just me. Oh.
Yeah. What about me? Now that I'm talking, did it switch to me?
Oh, hold on. I have to.
Yeah, do your thing.
I guess Paul said we're live.
Hey, Paul.
Get rid of it. I have too much stuff up here. Where is this? I can't. Where is the Zoom link? I don't need this. I don't need this. I am looking for the Zoom. I don't need that. I don't need this. Where's the Zoom? That's good. You see me?
Yeah, I see you. Hopefully our audience sees you.
I had this issue with so I see you.
Yeah, we got 16 viewers. We're live right now, brother.
But I can't find the Zoom to separate us.
It looks like we're being separated on the stream, so we're good.
Hold on. Here we go. There we go.
All right. What is up, Twitter, Periscope viewers?
Yes, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I have a guest today. AJ was so gracious to hit me up this morning and let me know that one of his calls had backed up. So he wanted to go live with all of us. So, AJ, you said you wanted to try to go to Instagram as well?
Yeah, so why don't you kick up the Instagram live and I'll join us there as well.
Oh, I see. Let me
get that set up. Everyone else, get your coffees. Hopefully you're having a good morning or late morning at this point.
All this new tech. So, AJ, one of the things, and this is for everyone out there, as you notice, I've been talking about creating certainty out of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that I had been able to do that for myself was to bite off more than I could chew by going live with you guys every morning at 8:30 with all this brand new tech. And AJ can tell you that's not my forte, as some of you guys just witnessed. Now, on top of that, but that gives me so much to focus on my day of coming up with fresh content, stories, making sure the tech's working. Like, this has been a big undertaking on my part. For one, my own sanity, but for also for all of our sanity. And so that was one of the reasons. And this being a part of history, I wanted to sort of my thoughts documented, and what a way to be able to do that through the lens of AOC with you guys. So that was a big reason for me to want to do this.
So live inside of Johnny's mind every morning.
Yeah, every morning, and people actually pay attention. We actually have people who really enjoy my thoughts, and it's just an opportunity for all of us to chat and show that we're all going through this together.
Exactly. And it's certainly been up and down for both of us. Some days better than others. I think the uncertainty can definitely get the best of you.
Yes, well, that's certainly a bit that I've been playing with. Has been good days and bad days. I have not uploaded every one of these to YouTube because some days weren't all that good, but I would say 70% of them are up there. So 70% of the time I've been able to be all right.
Well, that's
But I'll
good.
tell you what, that first 2 weeks, woo boy.
Well, now you got in a groove, I feel like. So I'm happy to join. Let's kick off Instagram. Everyone's got their coffee waiting for us.
All right. Instagram. What up? AJ's gonna join us, guys. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm excited to kick on Instagram here. Let's
I haven't seen you poke up yet.
Yep.
There we go. You go live at AJ. All right.
There we go.
Are you on?
I'm on.
It says it's waiting for you.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. We're live on both.
All right. Okay. And guess what? It's 8:30 on the dot. So with you hitting me up just about at 8, and
Yeah.
both of us needed to run, get showers, figure out the tech, we've managed to put this together.
Yeah, I had a call cancel this morning with a one-on-one client of ours, and was like, "Hey, Johnny, what are you up to?"
Yep, live as always at 8:30 with you guys. So here, AJ, since you're joining us today, let me give you a little backdrop of what the theme has been that has developed over the last few days,
Yeah.
which is herd mentality versus individuality. The fork in the road. Whose volume is that? Is that you? So it was the fork in the road where you now deviate from your old life into your new life. And we've been discussing that. And I gave it the backdrop of course, you know that I love rock and roll mythology. So I have chosen the Robert Johnson At the Crossroads story.
Yeah.
And we have been talking about how there's always going to be a point in everyone's life, many times, where your friends, your family expect you to go one way, and you have decisions that you have goals to make, values that lead you to those goals, and you come to a point where you choosing to engage in those values to get closer to that goal is going to put the fork in the road. And if you decide to stay with the herd mentality, there's a good portion of the rest of your life you will be living with regret.
Yeah. Well, many of our families want us to take the safe road
Yes.
to success. And the challenge is sometimes the safe road doesn't really make us happy, doesn't really deliver for us. And risk is an important part of finding that happiness. But of course, family members, parents, friends, they may not want that for us. So that's typically, for a lot of us, that fork in the road decision.
Yeah. And with that, one of the reasons that fork in the road situation, at least for myself, I was able to deviate it in my 20s. But one of the things that, if you come to look at what people on their deathbed look back and wish they could have changed on their life, it is living with regret or not choosing their own path. So if you have that overwhelming evidence, then why would you play it safe? And we had just done a wonderful interview yesterday with David Nurse that's going to be coming out in a few weeks. David talked about the risk that he had taken to become a pro basketball player. And sometimes those risks don't pan out. He ended up getting cut from the pro team in Spain and going back to his mom's chair, his recliner, as he said. But it is in those moments that you tend to look at yourself and then have to answer hard questions of, okay, that fell. What is it that I am going to do? And he metaphorically picked back up that basketball and went after it. And now is a coach for young players. He's a shot coach. And even in these moments, it's David had that fork in the road and he took that risk, because that risk is what leads us to us having a show, to David being able to be a coach, for all the people that we look up to who have created their own lives. It was they'd chosen their goals and values over the herd mentality that they were sitting in up until that point. The herd mentality plays a role. It keeps us safe. But
remember what his mom told him: when one door closes, four open.
yes.
And for many of us right now, we're seeing doors closing, and it sucks. I had that early in my career, felt the doors were closing, and it's on us to look for new opportunities and to call them opportunities.
Yes.
Right? The power of language.
Yes. And I was certainly somebody who never saw language as very important until I read the book Art of Possibility, which we always recommend everybody. It's a great book. I even wrote the author 2 weeks ago to see if I could get him on. Why haven't we had him on? He didn't write it down.
Yeah.
But all those words that you use to color your experiences program your mind, and you're setting up hurdles for yourself through language. And I know how much my speaking had changed. And one of the reasons I love going live so much is to be put in a position where you have to measure everything that you say. And it only helps develop your speaking. And I have gaffes like everybody else. But it's very important that I'm put in a position to continually to be measured, to watch what I say, because I want to make sure that I'm speaking in a way that empowers me.
Yeah. And when we look at the words that we choose, the influence they have on our behaviors and actions, words are the easiest thing to change.
Absolutely.
It doesn't take much to change your vocabulary.
No, not at all. But it certainly takes knowledge and opening up doors to a vocabulary. And I think that's sometimes where I get myself in trouble, because I do read a lot and words will get into my head and then I'll try to use them. And sometimes I make mistakes. We have some fun on the podcast with that. It's being from a blue collar background, where your first level is just swear.
Well, I'm happy to say that we've broadened your vocabulary.
Yes, absolutely. So I was asked with this theme of fork in the road to share my fork in the road. So if you want to start and give a little bit your fork in the road, because obviously we've been doing this show for a long time. I know it's in there, but we discuss it a lot. But for some of we have a lot of new viewers who have been tuning in from Instagram and Periscope who don't know our story all that well, and they've asked us to share.
Yeah. For me, that fork in the road hit in graduate school. So growing up, single dad wanted me to get a great education and focus on learning, and education equaled success. So growing up, loved science, wanted to become a doctor, threw myself headfirst into pre-med courses in college, and then got my first job in a hospital and hated it. As an introvert, dealing with patients and family members was a lot of stress. So I remember after that first job, I really started doubting medicine was for me. And my dad was pushing me to stay the course, right? That's how you're going to be successful. So I graduated with this biology degree and I wanted to travel. And my dad told me to get a job. And working in a hospital was not in the cards for me. I was not interested in that any longer. So I got a job in research. and I was working on a cancer biology project and started going pretty well. We were about to publish our paper and learned that a team at Stanford had scooped us. So they had gotten similar results and they were going to publish ahead of us. So all this work on my research was for naught. Was not going to see the light of day, was not going to be published, and I was very depressed. And my boss at the time decided to reach out to Stanford, collaborate, and try to get on the paper with them. And he was successful in doing so, but part of that process meant me, as the lowly researcher, well, I got zero credit. And when you're starting out in your career, you want those attaboys, you want that credit, you want to carve a name for yourself. So I definitely took that to heart and was really frustrated. And my boss said, why don't you apply for graduate school? I think the work you did in the lab was powerful. I think it would be a great opportunity for you. And I took him up on that offer. But when I got into graduate school, my heart just wasn't into it. I was checking boxes for others, trying to impress people, but I wasn't happy. And, we started this podcast 14 years ago as a hobby, as a fun way to talk about socializing and improving our dating lives. And as it started to sort of tick up and get more interest, I found myself spending more and more time researching for the podcast, getting excited to interview people and learn social skills. So I made the difficult decision to drop out of graduate school, and everyone in my life doubted me and thought I was insane. I mean, you also have to realize 14 years ago, no one was listening to podcasts. No one even knew what they were.
No.
So to tell your family you're leaving graduate school, you're leaving a potential PhD, and obviously the success that comes with that, to become a podcaster, to take a hobby
There was
to
no
a career.
Rogan wasn't doing his thing yet. It wasn't the new media yet.
And we laugh about it now because when you say podcast, everyone has podcasts, and of course they've grown in popularity. But at that time, that was my fork. And there was a lot of shame tied to it, I'm not going to lie. My family members didn't believe in it. In fact, my dad wouldn't tell people what I was doing. So I moved to New York, started the coaching with the Art of Charm with you guys, and it was tough. And of course, when you're starting a business, no business experience, there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of tough decisions made in my mid-20s. And then, of course, we decided to uproot and move everything to LA, which my dad questioned even further. What is wrong with you? But staying the course for me meant unhappiness, meant more self-doubt, and ultimately wasn't what I needed or wanted in my life. So I turned away from that opportunity that many wouldn't walk away from and tried to carve out this new path. And it's come full circle. Now my family certainly sees the impact of the podcast and what our life has become. But in the very beginning, that was a very tough fork.
Yeah, well, we both were moving into a uncharted world, and to bring in my story, and I was just talking with a new friend that I had met over the internet yesterday, which we'll get into that in just a bit. But for myself, I was living in North Carolina. I was neck deep in the music industry at that time. I was running music venues, bartending, managing clubs. If I wasn't at work, I was on the road. I was on tour, long weekends, or heading out for a short jaunt, and periodically the 30-day, month long. And I had grown up in a household where the most positive way that I could express myself was through music. I grew up in a very blue collar factory household. My dad worked in a factory. My mom was a hairdresser, and it wasn't a very expressive place, but I got a lot of positive reinforcement anytime that I had picked up instruments. So my value that I held for myself and who I was intrinsically got wrapped in that, into that art form. And so of course I followed that because that's what allowed me to feel good. And moving into my late 20s, the music industry that I had loved so much, that wanted to be a part of, well, that didn't exist anymore. The waiting for the records at the store, sleeping out in front of the store, waiting for a record that you've been hearing has been in the works for 4 months, and all of a sudden it's going to drop. That was gone. We didn't even have streaming services yet. I'm still talking about Napster and LimeWire. I mean, and social media wasn't a thing. At this time, MySpace was getting its role, but Friendster was the deal. I mean, so we're talking early, early social media, the proto social media, we could say. And so things were changing. What I grew up wanting to be a part of wasn't existing anymore. And not only did it not exist anymore, it was changing so rapidly that I wasn't even sure what it was going to become, nor if I wanted to even be a part of what was to come, as I was already seeing the musical landscape at that time not being very interesting to me. Everything that I had grown up wanting to be a part of was wrung out of that. And so when the rug gets pulled out from under you, so to speak, I mean, everything that I had devoted my life to up until that point was that old idea. And so I had to admit that it didn't exist anymore. I had to admit that I might not even want to continue devoting my life to an industry that was rapidly changing and has left me, so to speak. I mean, it had its own, talk about a fork in the road. The music industry had to do its thing.
Yeah.
And so I turned inward as an opportunity to figure out what it was that I needed to do. I had to ask myself hard questions, and with hard questions, you have to be honest and give hard answers. So in turning inward, I turned to self-development as an opportunity to learn more about myself, because up until that point, I never had to. I knew from a very early age what it was that I wanted to be doing, and I devoted my time to that. But I'm a highly obsessive person, as AJ knows, and so self-development, talk about one door closes, four open. It was self-development and the wonders that it had given me. And I implemented a few small pieces into my life and saw such radical, beautiful changes that I wanted to explore self-development further. It was an easy path. And it was through that, finding self-development friends, and then wanting to work in that field and getting a job in DC, and then a chance meeting with AJ and moving to New York to start the Art of Charm. And I could say that fork in the road for my rock and roll friends who saw this change in me and asking, what are you doing? That doesn't, and remember, as I said, there was no Rogan, there was no podcasting that wasn't a thing yet. It only a small portion of people who were interested in technology had an idea of what it could become. It was that was a myth. That was a big if. There was no Rogan. There was no one leading the charge. In fact, you could make an argument that we are a small group of pioneers in that moment. And so there was a lot of unknowns. Social media wasn't a thing. As I said, it was it was MySpace, and I think Friendster was shutting down. Facebook was still something just for colleges. MySpace was ruling the day when I had made these decisions. So there was no Twitter, there was no Instagram, and it was the big leap forward, so to speak. And that was definitely a fork in the road, and that was that story.
Well, what's interesting is we started the company right before the crash,
Yes.
and many businesses didn't survive the crash. And for us, what was so interesting is these social skills matter even more in moments where the economy is crashing and unemployment is going up,
You need each other.
because you need each other, you need your network to find new opportunities and jobs, and you need to be able to communicate your value to potential employers.
Yep.
So in that moment, right, that challenge faced us in 2008 in New York City.
Yeah.
We powered through it, and we saw our clients come out the other end using those social skills, not only in their dating life, not only in their social life, but to carve out new careers out of that terrible crash in the economy.
Yeah. Well, and just like in those times, social skills being something that brought everyone together to weather through something like that. As I've been chatting with everybody, I have reached out and have been reached out to by, and have talked to more new people in the last month than I had in the last 3, 4 leading up to this. And I'm about to chat with some other new people today. I chatted with the new friend that I had met from Twitter yesterday. I have a friend from Lombardi that I chat to all the time, giving me the New York scoop. He's probably watching right now. What's up, Tommaso? Uh, and it's been a blast. And I've been joking about this. After we get out of this and things get slowly back to normal, I'm going to need to have some beers with a lot of people in a lot of different places that I promised that would happen. And so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Dinners lined up, drinks lined up, lunches lined up, hikes lined up. I mean, we're rearing to go with our new network connections.
So this is Friday, and we always do a challenge on Friday. And I laid one out yesterday because I was just so impressed with John Taffer. And John mentioned that he was trying to speak to 5 people every day. Now, that's a big that's a big goal. And I am certainly not asking you guys to reach out to 5 new and old people every day. Unless, hey, you want to gun it, go for it. This is only going to help you. However, if you can make one reach out to an old friend or a new friend each day this week, over the weekend, I want to hear about it. I want to see the comments about it, because it is times like this that is you're going to see an opportunity creating in front of itself with just you taking action. And that's where it
Well,
starts. And with all this technology that we have, people are still telling me, I'm so busy. You are not busy. You are lying to yourself. You're scared of taking the risk.
right. That's what I want to talk about, because let's unpack this. Many of us, when we think about people in our network, our loose ties, weak ties, or people from our childhood that for whatever reason we drifted apart, we feel this weakness in reaching out to them, or this neediness. Like, if I reach out to them, there's expectations, or they're going to think less of me. It's weak. I mean, even in our core confidence group coaching program right now, one of our participants was a little nervous about this challenge of reaching out to people because he had drifted away from his high school buddies, childhood friends, and neither side had reached out. So, of course, that thought of, oh, I'm going to be the first one to reach out and try to reconnect. What do I say? What do I do? And in normal situations, that's completely fine to have that nervousness. But right now, we're all yearning for connection. We've been isolated. A simple, hey, I'm just thinking about you. Hey, I'm just checking in is enough to get the ball rolling. It's not needy. It's not weak. And you'd be surprised how many people are positively responding to these simple touching base conversations during this dark time.
And as I pitch every day, if you want something fun to use to make these calls and really connect, check out our communication accelerator. It is all the best bits of emotional bids, asking the right questions, compelling conversations to make these phone calls go from small talk to smart talk. And you can find it in the link tree on Instagram. You can find it in our profile on Twitter. And boom, somebody just picked it up. Look at that. And so that is an opportunity for you to learn all these cool things and then practice them with all of these people
in a safe environment, right? With people you already know, not with absolute strangers.
So AJ, you want to go to Instagram? We'll see if they have any questions.
Yeah, let's see what's going on here.
All right. So guys, we'll give you an opportunity to ask some questions, say hello. I know Paul had brought something on Periscope, so and I'll get the Periscope in a second. Sarah, Daniel, hello guys. Custom occasion. Why is echoing happening? Now that was AJ had some volume with the headphones on. Let's see. Speaker too close. Oh, echoing. Oh, sorry, Deborah. We got that worked out. Let's see. Just going through. AJ's voice is echoing. Oh, crud. All right. Now let's go to let's see, right here. Hey guys, thanks for sharing personal stories. That's impressive. Several months ago, I started listening to your podcast, and it helped me improve my English. Right on. You guys stay safe. Charlie Peck, hello.
Yeah.
She's awesome. When it wasn't popular, it's hard enough when it's widely accepted. Oh, you telling me. Here you go. Joseph House says, Kierkegaard said you can't find truth in the crowd. Kierkegaard is one of AJ's boys.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Paul Dominic says, what's up, guys? Hope both of you are staying healthy. Yes, we're doing our best. Several went to see. I know you. This is a tough name, but it's definitely Russian, I think. I don't even know. I'll say the last name, Ashkat. I had no idea there were so many important interviews and conversations that I can learn from the podcast. Many thanks from Kazakhstan. Yes, buddy. Well, thank you for tuning in. How rad is that? I love this.
Hell yeah, that is awesome. The power of the internet.
The power of the internet. Let's go back. And then I got to head out to another group. Just listen to your podcast all afternoon about high value. Well, thank you, Christina. Christina, you're rad. Thank you very much. That's one of our favorites to talk about. And Woody Belford. Hey, buddy. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining in. All right. Well, hopefully AJ will join us again sometime next week, guys.
Minus the echo.
Yes. We'll get it worked out, guys. Thank you for following along as I work these things out, and then we're always trying to add and make these things better. So with that, you have a challenge. If you want something fun to go along with that challenge, pick up the Art of Charm Accelerator, and that will certainly help you guys and elevate your conversations. So have a great weekend. AJ, anything you want to say before we head out?
No, this is a lot of fun. Let's keep the questions coming. Enjoy the rest of your mornings and the weekend. Hold each other accountable and reach out to people in your network. Perfect time to reconnect.
See you guys.
Are we going in the network?
Yeah, we can do that. We'll have to